everybody, and welcome to this episode of The Spiritual Handyman. I am Jason Antelek, your host, also your producer. Yay, I got two jobs. And I am here today with Brenda Milewski, and she is going to be talking about Unshackled You, how you can take a look at the things in your life that are holding you back that are actually within and not blamed on the things outside of us. Real quick, remind everybody that you can find The Spiritual Handyman on YouTube, on Instagram, and also at thespiritualhandyman.com. Also appreciate if you would like, comment, and especially subscribe to the channel to help build the community and get the word out there. We need your assistance to continue to grow. So thank you for participating. Thank you for listening and watching today. And let's get to it. My friend and colleague, Brenda, her tagline is Unshackled You. It is all about figuring out what things are holding you back, what is within that is keeping you from your potential, and how to unleash that, get past it, move past it. And she is going to share some cool tools with us to understand how we do that. So Brenda, please introduce yourself to the folks and tell them a little bit about your story.
Well, hi, everyone. And Jason, hey, thank you for bringing me on your show. This is so exciting in regards to sharing our spirituality, in regards to how we use that to improve or benefit our lifestyle, but also give us peace of mind. So I just really enjoy that so much. What I do is help individuals to understand that they don't take ownership of negative outside elements. It doesn't define who they are. And I found out through the years that a lot of people still do that and not understanding that most of the time when we feel sad, depressed, anxiety, it's because we hold on to those negativities that allows frustration to build in such a way that we feel trapped, we feel enslaved by these type of emotions. And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to be enslaved of them anymore. There are ways to break away from that if you're willing.
Those things are so immensely true. We have to recognize what we're dealing with and become aware, and then take ownership of it. Our mutual friend Candy Graves has also touched on that space in a previous episode about how we take ownership of something and we bring back our power as a result of that. So it sounds like you have a similar stance in that area.
Well, this is awesome for her to bring back what belongs to you. Here, I'm showing people not to be afraid to stand up and feel intimidated about themselves and let go of those things that they think that they shouldn't be letting go of.
All right. I like it. Well, good. We're going to get into some goodies about how we do that. So share the folks a little bit about your journey and how you got into what you do now, Brenda.
Well, what happened is that, I came from a home, a broken home. And my parents could not raise us. All right, there was a 5 of us. I'm the eldest of 5, and my grandmother raised us. But it wasn't a peaceful home because we were raised with such verbal abuse. And the tag of that was, my grandmother used my mother's illness as one way of bringing us into submission. And my mother's illness is schizophrenic paranoia. And she's been that way since the age, as far as I know, about 15 or 16 years old. And so I was mostly the rebellious one. If you told me that I was going to be just like her, I always tried to prove otherwise. But that scarring was still there in regards to maybe I am like my mother every time I made a mistake or I wasn't successful or, and so forth. But through the years, I realized that, no, I'm not my mom in regards to her illness, because she didn't choose that illness. And I don't have to choose any particular type of illness or frustration or depression. I don't have to choose that. Does it come on you? Yes, it does. But I realize that I have a choice in how I want to be. So basically, it was like a fight for me to reclaim my identity, knowing who I truly am and not be afraid of who I am and some of the flaws I might have, and then build up on it in embellishment. So this is what got me started with Unshackled, was I'm seeing a lot of people allowing fear, things that might happen at the home or at the job, define who they are. And they think that they don't have the power to say, no, that's not who I am. You can't speak those things into my life. for there. There's something within the spirit that I was raised up in the church is whatever you think within your heart, that's what's going to be transpired to be. So that should give a person an idea that you have the power to speak what you believe that you should be. Nobody else can do that unless you allow them to do that to you. So that's what made me create it Unshackled, because I wanted to show people you can break away from those things that you think that you don't have the power to do. But in all honesty, you do internally have that power to break away.
Well, thank you for taking us on that little piece of your journey and giving us some dimension as to why you're so driven to do the things that you do. And
Yeah.
it sounds like you've had some pretty serious patterns that you had to break out of. So I would say you're quite the authority in that space. I know for me that that I often struggle with that mind chatter, that negativity, that self-judgment, right? And that's one of those things for sure that that I know a lot of other people have issues with. And even though I'm aware of it, I still have some trouble. And how am I going to get rid of this? How am I going to change it?
Yes.
So can you help us understand kind of the basic tools that you might suggest for someone if they've got something identified, what they can do about it?
Well, the first thing you brought up, Jason, was judging. I understand what the purpose of judging is for. Through the years, all of us do it. I was guilty of it. We use judging as a condemnation, and then we browbeat ourselves, and then we make ourselves feel little. In regards to that, when we judge ourselves, it's not to condemn ourselves or make us feel little. Judging is just making awareness of, okay, that's something that doesn't need to be there. Now, how do I make that change? All right, and so we need to take words and be careful how we use them. And show that there is power into making it a positive action step, not a negative action step. So the first thing I'm going to say is, look, when you judge, don't judge yourself to condemnation. Judge yourself as an awareness of, that's a step I need to back off from. Now, what do I do to turn that around so that it does not affect me in a negative? Or I could be a positive for somebody else's life, being an influence. The second thing is take hold of those thoughts. All right, and claim your identity. When you were born, you weren't born with all this negative things that we see today. All right, those are outside elements trying to filter into our spiritual being. We have to stand up and go, wait a minute, back it up. I wasn't born this way. Everyone was born with goodness. I don't care what anybody says. Everyone was born with goodness. The question is, how do I protect that goodness? Well, that's a choice. That choice says to me, I don't have to take that negative word that you say about me because I know that this is who I am and I don't portray those things that you say. So take ownership of your identity. That means, how were you born? You were born with goodness. Start protecting that and embellishing that. So those are the two steps I'll get you going on.
It sounds to me like you're saying that really kind of getting back to who you are at the deepest level, who you are at the goodness of just your basic self. Is that accurate?
That is accurate, because when we come into life, when we grow, we see everything, all right, that kind of indoctrinates our mind. We see the magazines of girls and how they dress beautifully. We hear people criticizing us because we didn't meet up to their expectation. But the thing is that what we miss is that through our homes, and I grew up in a negative home, all right, so don't get me wrong. But the thing is that when somebody's starting to speak positive to you, don't shun it. They're seeing what you were naturally born to be. Don't shun it. All right. And that's the thing, is we need to grasp onto, look at it. How was I born? Granted, when I grew up, I was called Brenda the cross-sided person because my eyes is a little cross. It's what some of us have flaws, some of us don't. But whatever that case may be, all right, it was not a negative. It's going to use for a positive purpose. Think that way and start protecting that from there. So what you're saying is, yes, dig deep within yourself. Don't be afraid of yourself. Embrace it, enjoy it, and go, you know what? I'm the only one that can make this as beautiful as possible. I'm going to take ownership to do that.
So for those of us that might be in a place of struggling with what that self chatter is and how we can turn that around. What are some suggestions that you might have, Brenda, to change that self talk, to really leverage the goodness within us? How can we say something different? Like what would an example be?
Oh, awesome. Well, the example is, you know what? I'm the head and not the tail. I'm not somebody's animal. I'm the head and not the tail. All right. I stand tall. You know, I'm above only and not beneath. All right. How does I look at myself on that? Spiritually, it's like, you know, I could do anything. All right. For that higher power, that Christ, or however you want to name it, that's given me that positive thing about that. You know what? I'm heir to the throne of God. You know what I mean? I am just awesome. I am rocking powerful. All those accolades, those affirmations that you can speak on it, don't just throw them away like they're a charm on the bracelet. Each one of them defines who you are. Take it and just embrace on it. The other thing is, when you find an affirmation, all right, that really hits you, write it down and post up in the mirror. So when you wake up in the morning, drowsy eye and everything, you're like, okay, I got to go to this meeting that I just don't like. Boom, you see your affirmation up there going, I am ready because I know I can do this. I can face the world today because of this. So the basic is to say, you know what? I am beautiful. I am awesome. I am brilliant. I am smart. All right. I am healthy. I am strong. These are what you are. It's not something that somebody gives you. It's something that you speak within you, which makes your spirit goes, I'm alive. I can rock it. I know that I can.
I like the idea of posting it on the mirror. That works in so many ways. One of the tricks that I like to use is I put something positive up there when I've gotten out of the shower, because it's all
Yes.
steamy, right? And then the next time you take a shower and you steam it up, you see it. Yeah,
Yes.
a lot
Oh
of
my
times
goodness. Yes.
a lot of times we post it on the mirror,
Yes.
and then we see it and it works for us for a little while, but we never move it around. We don't change what we're looking at. We don't rewrite it or put
Yes.
something different up there,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And actually take the time to change what it is you're reading and what you're taking in, because if you're not looking at it on the mirror anymore, then maybe something else, it's time for something else to be there,
Well, you know
right?
what, Jason? I also put it on my steering wheel. All
You're not
right.
supposed to read while you're driving, Brenda.
Well, only at the stoplights, you know.
Right there, 10 and 2. Oh, there it is. Okay.
There you go. You know, so what you're saying is right. It's not a one-time action. It's a continuous action step. All right. And what you're doing is you're exercising your brain, all right, to change its physical composition of being now positive and not negative. If I can share this with you, there was one guy that benchmarked my practice and what I do. His name is Dr. Daniel Amen. And he believes that when you can change your brain, because our brain matter is made of neoelasticity, okay? And so people think that when when they're depressed or the PTSD or whatever, that their brain is condemned, it will never survive anymore, it's sick, it's dead. That's the wrong answer. The thing is that I believe within my heart, once you start speaking affirmations and speaking positive, and he has proven that with his technology, and you can Google him, in regards to that, your brain matter does heal. It does heal. Your brain matter does restore itself so that now the brain is functioning with positive synapses, which makes your body healthy. I believe this very much so. And that's why I believe that all of us, we were born with goodness. Our spirit was designed for goodness. Anything negative to that, the spirit starts to grieve. Our body starts to deteriorate. Why? Because we're filtering in the negative things that the body was never, ever designed to receive.
So you're actually tapping into the science of what positive thinking can do for you physically. So not only is it changing your mindset and affecting your energy, but it can actually influence your physical body.
Correct, correct. I'm not a scientist, so don't get me wrong, but this is where, you know, I love to read. I love to find things that correlates to what I'm doing and how to continue to help people to improve to make themselves healthy. So I'm not just talking about a healthy mind, but a healthy body. All right. And they said about maybe 7 or 8 years ago, science is just starting to realize if the brain is healthy, then the rest of the body becomes healthy.
One of the things that I often run into is that people really want kind of that quick fix. They want that really quick opportunity to shift everything. And you can get a shift in the moment, but the reality seems to me, and you help me understand this if maybe I need a shift here, is that when we've had negativity for a prolonged period, we don't necessarily have the ability to just snap and shift everything in a moment. We can shift our mindset, but the deterioration and the disease and those things that have infiltrated our body as a result of those patterns, those things take time. And that's why we want to continue with the affirmations or continue with what makes us feel good. Would you say that that's accurate?
That is accurate. You also want to add on this one thing. I call it my letters. And the one letter is W. It's being willing. You got to be willing. All right. You can have all the coaching in the world. You can have all the counseling in the world. You can do all of that. But if you're not willing to fight for your life, then everything I do or the counselors do, it means nothing. It's like a Charlie Brown effect. It's just bah, 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 bah. But if you're willing, all right, then I guarantee you there are others who's going to be partnering with you to help you succeed. And that's the other thing, is finding the right partners, not the ones that makes you feel good, but the ones that helps you walk through that journey of mental success. All right. And when you find that person who is willing, you'll grow off the chart. All right. But the thing is, once you're starting to grow and progress, don't forget, let go of the past. When the memory comes back, it doesn't mean that you did something wrong. When the memory comes back, it's an evidence for you to show that you have grown from that. See, sometimes, and this was my problem when I was through the years. I took my past and then I browbeat myself all the time going, oh, I shouldn't have these memories. Maybe I didn't resolve that. Maybe, and then I start to realize now, these memories doesn't show that you're still condemned. These memories show that you have grown from it. So now these memories are going to be a testimony for somebody else who might be looking for that same help that you received and help you to overcome. That's the last step I believe that we're missing, that the world tries to prevent from happening, is allowing people to realize they have succeeded. They have overcome. You can't keep me silent. I'm going to share it with other people to let them know they can also overcome. And I believe that that's the biggest crisis that we have, is that people, they might be jealous or they don't want us to succeed, wants to keep us silent so that others doesn't know that they can break away from that.
That's really powerful realization, and thank you for that gift and that tool to recognize for ourselves that just because the things come back up again doesn't mean we didn't deal with it. It really is, like you said, about understanding how far you've come since that point. It's kind of like a businessman in success. He learns from his failures and then becomes more successful. Right.
Correct.
But he never forgets the lesson that he got. You don't forget the things that you've done, because first of all, if you forgot, you might have to learn it again. And where is the fun in that? Right?
That's right. You want to repeat that process. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so when you have it in your memory, what you're saying is it's really easy to recognize what it means, instead of judging it as, oh, I missed something, I didn't get to something. That we can actually approach that with, look what I've accomplished. And
Yes.
look again at the good. Look for the
Yes.
good within ourselves. And the good part of us is that part that went through the work, that faced the things and dealt with it. Right? Is that on track there?
That is definitely on track. The one thing that we have to remember is, what was first in our body, goodness or negative? Goodness was the first thing in our body, period. Whether a person would believe that, but we had a good spirit and it's still there. All it's asking is, help resurrect me out so that you can see the goodness as well. The last thing I want to encourage people is this: look, when you have a person in your life that doesn't see the goodness that you have transpired, and all they're going to do is remind you of the past, cut them off. They don't belong in your positive affirmation circle. Get rid of it. All right. You'll have friends that's going to respect you for who you are. Don't worry about who you're losing. Think about now, I made room for whom I can gain that's going to help honor me, respect me, and help me to grow. That's another thing. Don't be afraid to cut off those dead weeds.
That is a powerful message as well. And I'll tell you that something that I found that's true to reinforce that is when we hold ourselves in high regard and we look at the goodness within ourselves and we support that and we recognize that and stand in that power. That's what I call it, standing in your personal power.
Yes.
We actually demand that the people around us be of the same vibration or the same mindset,
Yes.
because
Yes.
we no longer allow that negativity. We no longer allow for those people to bring us down, which means the people that are in that sort of mindset, yeah, they start to slip away or they have less effect on us, either of which is a positive thing when you're on an upswing, right? But then, like you said, you have cleared space and you have opened yourself up to be with a different type of person, to be surrounded with different energy and be connected with people that are of the same, the same kind of general energy. And that allows you more room to grow. It allows you more opportunity to support yourself and to support others. So immediately you get to give back to yourself and to help other people because you're all maintaining that level of positivity.
I love that win-win scenario.
There's nothing wrong with a win-win. And I notice too that it happens more and more often that there actually are win-win scenarios. And a lot of it starts with being who you are and being authentic and being in your own personal strength and,
Yes.
and setting that in a way that means that the people around you recognize that. And
Yes.
quite honestly, it creates this field of energy that doesn't allow the negativity. So
Yes.
if you take a little bit of time and effort in yourself, you're going to find that the world around you shifts as well. And,
Yes.
and the whole thing becomes easier. And then as you grow into it, you find more and more opportunity, you find different people, you find better relationships, your finances improve. When we look within ourselves and find that strength, everything around us in our lives gets better.
So true. It is so true. Thank you, Jason. That's just a nice way to seal that.
So, Brenda, if people would like to work with you more, if they've got things that they want to be unshackled from, how do they find you and what kind of things do you offer?
All right. Well, I have two things. One, I have a Facebook page. I love to dialogue and speak with others, sharing information on Facebook called Unshackled. So if you go to Unshackled, I'll be waiting there, helping to answer any question that you may have. If you're looking, I can do just a consultation. If you want to talk things out, email me at brenda.unshackled@gmail.com. All right. And then I'll respond back and we'll coordinate a nice Zoom time or a, what's my other time there? Not I'll remember it by the time I hang up on you. But the thing is that we can do a video chat from here so that we can be able to connect. All right. And then answer whatever questions you have. Now, the thing is, like I said, I'm a coach. So what I do is I help the individual to learn how to overcome and move forward. Sometimes there's a little bit of counseling because you want to try to get that sliver that's still in there that's keeping them from moving forward. But if you're looking for somebody to help get those right tweezers for you and pull it out, go to Facebook and Unshackled or brenda.unshackled@gmail.com.
Fantastic, Brenda. Thank you so much for sharing that info, how people can get in touch with you. I will include that in the description of the video. So if you would like to reach out to Brenda or either through the Facebook or through her email address, that will be available to you. Brenda, thank you so much for all of your energy, your enthusiasm, your positivity, and the tools that you have brought to our community today to share. We really appreciate you on behalf of the Spiritual Handyman community. Thank you for the work that you do.
You're welcome, Jason. I had a pleasure, and I want to say thank you to your audience. It was just wonderful. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Fantastic. Oh, everybody, please take an opportunity to like, share, comment, and most definitely subscribe to the Spiritual Handyman YouTube channel. Also available at thespiritualhandyman.com. You can check out the podcast. So if you're more of a listener than a watcher, that's an easy way to stay up on what is available. Also, we are now on Spotify. Woohoo! Spiritual Handyman's podcasts are now on Spotify, so you can find us in that space as well. So one last thank you to Miss Brenda for joining us today and unshackling the things that are limiting us. Thank you, everybody in the community. We appreciate you watching and listening. Take care. We'll see you next time.
The Spiritual Handyman, bringing spiritual tools to the hands of the people who need them. Sponsored by the Eagle Heart Foundation. The Eagle Heart Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that brings charitable contributions and educational enhancements to the people. So how can you be a part of the Spiritual Handyman and the Eagle Heart Foundation? The Triple Win Situation. This book was written by Granddaughter Crow, and half of the proceeds go to the Eagle Heart Foundation, which in turn sponsors the Spiritual Handyman. How to get it one? It's on Amazon and Kindle for only $9.99. So we are here to bring tools to you. Thank you so much, Spiritual Handyman. We believe in what you do.